had always loved birthdays, but the one I celebrated on my 21st was one I would never forget. I invited a small group of friends to my apartment, decorated the place with balloons, streamers, and a few string lights. Music played softly, and everything felt normal, cheerful even. That was until someone arrived that nobody seemed to know. He was tall, thin, polite, and smiling, claiming he was a friend of a friend. Nobody had mentioned inviting him. I laughed nervously, assuming he must have misunderstood the address, but he didn't leave. He mingled naturally, laughed at jokes, and even complimented the decorations, acting like he belonged. As the evening progressed, I began to notice strange things. He never ate anything, never drank, and yet he was always present, always watching me. He would glance at me when I wasn't looking, sometimes standing just behind my friend's group, silently observing. By the end of the party, I realized I had never heard his voice directly addressed to anyone else. When I asked my friends about him, their faces went blank. "What guest?" one of them said. "There's no one here but us." My stomach dropped. I couldn't explain it, and the fear settled in my chest like ice. After everyone left, I searched the apartment, checking every corner and even peeking behind doors. But he was gone. That's when I noticed the folded piece of paper in my hand, tucked between my own fingers. Unfolding it, I read the words written in a handwriting I didn't recognize. "Thanks for letting me stay. I'll visit again." The words were simple, almost polite, but my skin crawled. I never saw him again. Yet even now, months later, whenever I throw a small gathering or see someone unfamiliar in a crowd, I catch a glimpse of him in my mind, a shadow that shouldn't exist, and I feel that same icy fear crawl up my spine. The thought lingers. Some guests never truly leave, and some memories are not meant to fade. When I turned 16, my parents hired a clown for my birthday. At first, it was everything a teenager could want: magic tricks, balloon animals, laughter, and fun. The kids screamed with joy while I watched, trying to pretend I wasn't feeling a little uneasy. At first, the clown seemed normal, performing the tricks and telling jokes, but I soon noticed something strange. He didn't interact with anyone except me. He would linger nearby, lean in too close when no one was watching, whispering things I couldn't hear. My friends joked that I was overreacting, that I was imagining things, but a growing sense of dread settled in my chest. After the party ended and everyone left, I asked my parents where he had gone. They told me he had left hours ago, that he was just a hired performer. But late that night, I heard faint tapping at my bedroom window. My heart stopped. I slowly crept to the window and peeked outside. And there he was, the clown, standing perfectly still, watching. I slammed the window shut, flipped on the lights, and when I looked again, he was gone, I told my parents. But they dismissed it as imagination, something I had dreamed. The next day, I discovered small balloon animals in my room, twisted, strangely crafted, each with a tiny note tied with string. "I'll be back next year. You were fun today. See you soon." I was terrified, convinced he had been inside my room while I slept. That fear stayed with me for years. Every birthday since, I've felt a chill whenever a clown enters the room or someone performs magic, because I know that night wasn't just a harmless prank. Something had marked me, and I could never forget it. That clown was never just a performer. He was a visitor who refused to leave. My 25th birthday was meant to be a quiet, low-key affair. I invited a few close friends, baked a cake, and decorated my apartment just enough to make it festive. When it came time to blow out the candles, I leaned in, exhaled, and nothing happened. The flames danced stubborn and unyielding, even as I blew harder. My friends laughed nervously, joking that I must have some strange candle wax. But a creeping sense of unease settled in my stomach. The flames weren't normal. They burned with an unusual bluish glow instead of the warm orange light you expect. Soon after, the room changed. Shadows twisted unnaturally across the walls. The temperature dropped drastically, and I could swear I heard faint whispers, soft but urgent. Calling my name, I tried to dismiss it, telling myself it was nerves or imagination. But then one candle began to levitate slightly above the cake, swaying in the air, as though held by an invisible hand. I reached to grab it and felt intense heat, burning my fingers in a way that left marks for days. My friends looked on, frightened now, but I could tell they hadn't seen the full scope of what was happening. That night, after everyone left, I tried to dispose of the candles. I packed them into a box and shoved it in the closet, but even afterward, strange occurrences persisted. Lights flickered, doors creaked, and a faint scent of smoke lingered. Though nothing was burning, I started avoiding birthday celebrations, dreading the sight of candles. Every time I see them, I remember that night. The night a celebration turned into something unexplainable, something that reminded me that even the most ordinary moments can hide horrors beyond imagination. I've learned now that birthdays aren't always just about joy. Sometimes they're a trap. A door left open for the unexplainable to creep in. Birthdays are supposed to be joyful, filled with laughter, friends, and celebration. But sometimes they hide something far darker. A guest you don't remember inviting, a performer who lingers too long, or candles that refuse to die. These are the moments when a party stops being fun and becomes a nightmare. The people you trust, the spaces you feel safe in, even the smallest traditions, can suddenly feel alien and threatening. You tell yourself it was a prank, imagination, or coincidence. But deep down, you know the truth. Something or someone might be closer than you think, watching, waiting, leaving reminders that you weren't alone, even when you believed you were. And sometimes, the terror doesn't end when the party does. It follows you home, lingers in the shadows, and waits for the next celebration to remind you that some horrors are never truly gone. So next time you light the candles or open the door to welcome guests, pay attention, smile politely, but stay aware, because not all birthday wishes are meant to be happy, and not every guest leaves when the party ends.